welcome to Pocketful of English with Miss Ina. Who, whom, whose, that, which, where. What are these words called? They are called relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are pronouns that give us more information about a noun in a sentence. They also help us combine two sentences into one. What do these relative pronouns refer to? How do we use relative pronouns in combining sentences? Today's lesson is going to be an interesting one, so you have to watch and listen carefully to my explanation and sample sentences. And to check your understanding, I prepared a short quiz at the end of the lesson. I hope you'll get a full score. I think everybody's ready. Come on, let's get rolling.
Relative pronouns. What is a relative pronoun? A relative pronoun is a word that introduces a dependent or subordinate clause and connects it to an independent clause. A relative pronoun is used to refer to nouns mentioned previously, whether they are people, places, things, animals, or ideas. Let's recall, what is a clause? What is an independent clause? What is a dependent clause? A clause is a group of words that contain a subject and verb. All sentences are made up of clauses. Some clauses can express a complete idea, whereas some clauses cannot. An independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb and expresses a complete thought. An independent clause is a sentence. A dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb but does not express a complete thought. A dependent clause that begins with a relative pronoun usually modifies the noun or pronoun that comes before it. Let's discuss the 6 relative pronouns. The 6 relative pronouns are who, whom, whose, that, which, where. What do relative pronouns refer to? Who. It refers to people, the subject of the sentence. For example, the musician who wrote this song is a Filipino. The relative pronoun is who. The relative clause is who wrote this song. Who refers to musician. Whom. It refers to people, the object of the sentence. For example, Mr. Smith found a man whom he wants to interview. The relative pronoun is whom. The relative clause is whom he wants to interview. Whom refers to man. Whose. It refers to possession or relationship. For example, Kelly is the singer whose autograph I got today. The relative pronoun is whose. The relative clause is whose autograph I got today. Whose refers to singer. That. It refers to people, animals, or things. For example, the money that belongs to Toph is in the locker. The relative pronoun is that. The relative clause is that belongs to Toph. That refers to money. Which. It refers to animals, things, or ideas. For example, My children love the book which talks about Steve Jobs. The relative pronoun is which. The relative clause is which talks about Steve Jobs. Which refers to the book. Where? It refers to places. For example, Japan is a country where earthquakes are very common. The relative pronoun is where. The relative clause is where earthquakes are very common. Where refers to country. When do we use commas in relative clauses? In some sentences, such a subordinate clause is essential or restrictive to the meaning of the word it describes. If the clause is removed, the meaning of the word it describes changes. We do not use commas on either side of such a clause. For example, I want to eat at a restaurant where they serve spring carbonara. The relative pronoun is where. The relative clause is where they serve spring carbonara. The sentence doesn't make sense without where they serve spring carbonara because it clarifies what type of restaurant it is. The clause is necessary, so it is not set off by a comma. Some subordinate clauses containing relative pronouns may give extra information that is unnecessary or non-restrictive. If the clause is taken out, the meaning of the word that it modifies does not change. We use commas on either side of such a clause. For example, Colin's dog, who loves to play fetch, is a golden retriever. The relative pronoun is who. The relative clause is who loves to play fetch. Who loves to play fetch is not essential to the sentence. You can take it out and the sentence still makes sense. The subordinate clause is unnecessary, so it is set off by commas. We can combine sentences using relative pronouns. Let's find out how to do that. Subordinate clauses formed by using a relative pronoun are also an effective way of combining sentences by replacing the shared repeated information with a relative pronoun. For example, here are two sentences. Once upon a time, there lived a giant. The giant was very powerful and cruel. The sentences can be rewritten as, once upon a time, there lived a giant who was very powerful and cruel. The relative pronoun is who. The relative clause is who was very powerful and cruel. Quiz time! Complete the sentences with relative pronouns in the box. Time to check the answers. Did you all get correct answers? Awesome job, everyone!
Thanks everyone for learning English the easy way with me. I hope to see you again next time. Bye!